The Pulse School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by BASF.
Hello, I'm Dale Leftwich with RealAgriculture. Today I'm with Andrew Reid, the Technical Marketing Specialist with BASF Canada. How are you doing today, Andrew?
Doing fantastic, Dale, here in sunny Saskatchewan. But still late winter, but we're starting to gear up for spring.
Yeah, there's still snow on the ground, but there's a lot of decisions that have to be made before the snow's all gone. And one of them is around figuring out herbicide carryover and how that will affect your seeding intentions. So I just want to see if you could chat a little bit about what herbicide carryover is and how does it happen.
So herbicide carryover, in very general terms, is when you apply a herbicide the year before, and then for a multitude of different reasons, doesn't break down as fast as you would normally expect it to. And then the next year, you seed a crop that you think should be safe, is on label, but because there's more herbicide residue there, you actually end up causing some crop injury to that suspected safe crop. So herbicide carryover is really a factor of environmental conditions with the herbicide you're using causing crop injury the year after application.
What kind of factors influence a herbicide carryover then?
So herbicide carryover is not a simple matter. Herbicide carryover, number one, is affected by rainfall after application. You need that rainfall after application to get the product into the soil and also to help with microbial activity because it's microbes that actually break down most of the herbicides that we use in Western Canada. So if you've got very dry conditions, you don't get very good microbial activity, so your product breakdown rate doesn't occur as fast. And the most important thing to note is, especially with something like our IMI-based herbicides like Solo, Odyssey, and those types of products, it's usually the rainfall after application up to about the beginning of September because you need the soil nice and warm for those microbes to be happily growing and breaking your product down.
So in the Palliser Triangle area of Western Canada, it's and in other areas too, it's been really dry for about 3 years in a row. So the idea of rainfall is really important part of this concern that farmers have to take care of before they get into the field. But there are other things too. It's a complex issue, I think, right?
Oh, absolutely. So rainfall is the most important factor after application, but your soil type, so soil texture, organic matter, pH, these all play a role in risk for herbicide carryover. So if we take the IMIs as an example, we know in lower pH, so under 6 to 5.5, I would say, low soil organic matter, so if you're under 2%, and then if you have a very coarse soil texture, so if you have a very sandy or gravelly soil, those are all higher risk factors in terms of product carryover. So if you've got a soil that is low organic matter, low pH, very coarse texture, and you've had very low rainfall, I would say you're probably at a higher risk in terms of herbicide carryover for this year.
When a farmer's trying to determine what kind of concerns he might have, it's important to realize that not all plants react the same way to a herbicide carryover. Which plants are most sensitive to herbicide carryover?
So the one most important thing to remember when we're talking about herbicide carryover and crop sensitivity, it's not just this crop is the most sensitive. It's this crop is the most sensitive to this type of herbicide. So if we're talking about group 2s, for example, the brassica family, so canola and mustard are generally the most sensitive in terms of group 2 herbicide carryover. But if we're looking at group 4 herbicides, the most sensitive crops would be soybeans or field peas, depending on the product in question. So it's not as simple as saying this is the most sensitive crop, is how sensitive is my crop to the herbicide that I'm concerned about.
The next question then is if a farmer is concerned, how can the grower manage a carryover risk?
So there's a lot of different things that a grower can do. So one of the best things, if you're locked into your rotation and you feel that you've got to put this crop on and it may be a bit more sensitive to the herbicide in question, is everything you could possibly do to get that crop off to the best start is really the best management strategy to help manage through any type of carryover risk. Carryover is just another type of stress on that crop. So dry seeding, low fertility, and you can start naming off any other environmental stress. Carryover is just another stress on top of that. So if you can get your crop off to the best, healthiest start ever, it's more likely to be able to manage through that stress with minimal type of impact. If you've got a crop that's sitting there struggling, it was seeded very dry, or you've got a lot of other stresses on top of that, it's less able to manage through that herbicide carryover stress, so it may not be able to perform as well. The other main strategy is avoidance. If you've got the ability to shift your crop rotation, you can put that potentially more sensitive crop on a lower risk piece of land. Maybe you didn't apply that herbicide there last year, or maybe you've got a section of your farm that got a little bit more rainfall. If you can move your crop around to a lower risk area, that's probably one of your other best strategies to help manage through herbicide carryover risk.
We're a little ways away from seeding yet, but it's coming up quickly. And farmers are trying to finalize their plans. They've got their rotations probably pretty firm already, but they're trying to finalize their plans. What should growers do if they suspect a carryover problem?
So one of the most important things is, if you think you have a carryover problem, call us. Now, it's very important to call us at the right time. Calling us when you're sitting on the seeder just putting in the crop in the ground, not really the best time for us to call, for us to come out to the field. From the swather or the combine at the end of the year, really not a good time to call, because at that point, A, we can't really understand if it was carryover or something else, and B, there's really nothing that we can do at that point. The most important time is to be out there scouting your fields shortly after emergence up through your in-crop herbicide application timing, because that's typically where symptoms will start to show up in a suspected herbicide carryover situation. So really, get out to your field shortly after emergence up through, in most crops, that 5 to 6 leaf stage, see what symptomology is showing up. So if we take the IMIs as an example and canola, looking for purpling in the growing point, that is where you would generally see group 2 symptomology. Not all purple in canola is group 2 carryover, but group 2 carryover can cause certain types of purpling. But it's most important, if you suspect you have a herbicide carryover situation, to call us when it's happening. That really gives us the opportunity to get out to the field, understand what's going on, determine a path forward, and really help you manage through the crop for the rest of the crop season.
Well, this has all been very helpful. I just want to thank Andrew Reid, the technical marketing specialist with BASF Canada, for being with us today. Thanks a lot, Andrew.
Thank you very much, Dale. Really appreciated the opportunity to talk to you guys today.